Bethany, we're front and center. We're gonna have to be really cool.
You guys look really cool.
I don't feel really cool in my radial jacket.
I think you feel very cold is what you feel.
Yeah, I don't feel cool. I'm beyond cool. I'm bruising.
Quiet. Quiet. Clap test. All right, now we can go.
Hold it. Hold this. Hold this.
I'm holding.
I think that showed something.
We need room for one more chair somewhere.
We can make
Go
room.
there. Maybe next to Janelle.
A hole over there. There's a hole over there.
There's one right here.
You can tuck yourself right here as well. There are loads of corners. 6 corners.
You're so welcome.
Hide in the corner.
Yay!
Don't block the. You may be hidden, but it's fine.
It's okay.
We'll be imaginable.
The disembodied voice of Luther will be
Yes.
So true.
unless he doesn't feel like talking, which is also something else.
It's just the
There
phantom.
has to be someone there whose job is just to laugh.
Yes.
We don't have to.
Where's Ashley?
We don't have Shelby.
Where's Ashley and
You
Danielle?
don't even have a lane.
Ashley's over
Oh,
there.
Ashley's over there.
I don't know where Danielle is.
Danielle, you time?
Danielle is, I think she ran off to get
Oh,
food.
she
didn't
did.
find
Okay.
her. She has something
Yeah, everybody dispersed.
Okay.
She'll come in at some point. She knows what's going on.
Yes.
We'll be like, all right, sit down, introduce yourself. All right, Danielle,
Yeah.
hot seat. You're late.
Danielle, would you like to introduce yourself?
I guess.
I guess not.
Please proceed from Rachel.
Oh no.
So, first order of business.
Wait, there's a token.
We are so back. For the benefit of the radio, please introduce yourself by your name so we know what name to put to a voice. And tell us what you've been working on since the last time you were here. Rachel.
I'm Rachel. I'm currently working on a YA superhero novel, very heavily inspired by Spider-Man. I'm in the last stages, about to finish edits on it, so I can start querying it later this year.
So you're going the traditional publishing route? Hopefully. That sounds really cool. I think we have a lot of Christians in indie publishing, but
Yeah.
we need to take dominion of the normal stuff too.
Exactly.
I'm Luther. I haven't been here before, but I'm writing a detective story.
Dude, that's so cool! I don't think we've had one of those before.
Well, it's like a fantasy detective story.
Even better!
Twice as good.
Even better. That was eerily synchronous.
It really was. It was really good.
That's
Janelle.
really cool. Janelle.
I'm Janelle, and I have written various things, mostly like D&D fantasy-esque stuff. I can't remember what I'm actively writing right now because I jumped through a lot of things.
That's fair.
I'm Elias. Since last I was here, I have not written much besides poetry. I've been expanding that, and then I've been also transferring it into a poem journal, so I can have it physically.
I'm Anthea. I have not written anything since last time. But I have read a book about writing,
Those are important.
so I have even more opinions.
Excellent. Opinions are very good to have.
I'm Elijah. I have not touched my book in a really long time. Need to get back into that. But I've been letting some of my stories ruminate in my head once in a while.
And it's been a while since you were here. Welcome back,
Yeah.
Elijah. We're so...
It's good to be
the guy
back.
who started this.
Yeah.
Jonas.
I am Jonas. I have not been here before to this author's meeting. I am not an author, but
Carry on.
Anthony.
but
Thin eyes there, buddy.
Let him get up. Let him get up.
but I am in the middle of slowly writing a book on self-defense. So,
Okay.
It's a good song.
Nonfiction, also important.
Yeah. Nonfiction.
Biblical.
Still writing. Still an author. Yeah. I'm
Technically
Bethany.
still.
I am the wielder of the pool noodle. If you say
noodle
things
truth.
that are not true, I'm gonna hit you with the pool noodle. In my spare time, when I'm not hitting people with pool noodles, so what?
The moon is made of cheese.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when I'm not doing that, I write a lot of different flavors of fantasy. Presently, the story is adoptive family ? And ghost sorcerers and scare little children. And flying boats.
Flying boats.
Flying
Very
boats.
cool.
Yes.
I'm Autumn. Since the last time we were here, after 17 months and 86,000 words, finished the second draft of my novel. Woo-hoo! Finally! And next week I'm going to start writing it again because that's what we got to do sometimes. I am not limited by genre, so right now I'm writing a contemporary coming-of-age novel. After that, I've got a couple of fantasy on the back burner and probably sci-fi at some point after that. Oh, I'm so happy that I actually finished that because I was suffering from it last time we were here.
I'm Ashley, and since last time I have not done a whole lot. I have done some more research into self-publishing for one of my books and figured out a couple things that, and I don't remember when exactly I figured this out, if it was before last Poiemauthors or after, but there's a book that I wrote when I was like 13 that I cannot read anymore without slamming it shut from embarrassment, but I still have always kind of liked the concept of it, and so I've kind of like had it like one day I might rewrite it, and not too long ago I actually figured out like in my mind like what I'm going to probably do if I rewrite it. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Danielle's not here to say it's hard for herself. Everything that she's working on right now, she's working on since she was long time. So, and all that labor there is still to be had. And Danielle's still not here. She's not.
She is not.
She'll be back.
She'll be back, and we'll put her on the spot immediately.
Possible discussion topic.
Excellent.
Poem this week is about illustriousness. Thoughts on illustriousness in storytelling and in even as it pertains to telling the truth in nonfiction. For the benefit of the nonfiction. Why? Because this applies to everyone. Elias, what's wrong with you? Something clinical. Why?
And burn the mayonnaise. I tolerate whatever's wrong with you.
I came up to you two last night and she was like, what is up with you two?
It was always us three. Rachel was part of the
This is a good
shenanigans.
point. Why is every time something happens, it's always you three?
Listen, we're the fun people.
That's definitely one way to put it.
You meant further contextual questions. Because I feel like it's not like
So, a thing that I've been thinking about a lot more recently, especially as it pertains to fiction, I think I really don't want us to do is to talk around how it also pertains to nonfiction because that would be extremely unfair. The rotation of the pool noodle was to point to Jonas. It's actually very difficult to gesticulate with a pool noodle. But a thing that I've been thinking about a lot more recently is how you handle righteousness in the truth that you want to tell, because there have been some things that some stories that I've consumed, particularly very badly written stories, where there's sort of just a completely washed out kind of worthless goodness to it, where it's just kind of everyone holding hands and singing Kumbaya, and you don't really believe that any of this conflict has any meaning, because the goodness is too policed. Does that make any sense at all?
Like the idea, concept of lawful good as we don't acknowledge that anything is bad ever.
Yeah, exactly. And I know there is a probably not a balance. There's a line to be drawn and there's a standard to be created. I don't know what it is, and I think this would be a really interesting for people to ask.
Like telling the truth, and the truth is that there is not just light in this world. There are dark things, and the light's job is to banish darkness. But that doesn't mean the darkness never existed, and you have to acknowledge it in order for the lights to be more poignant and more remarkable or special. It's not special if there was never any darkness to begin with. Light is a reward. It is a vindicator, as it were. It is the goodness that comes to banish darkness.
And the other thing, I'm thinking about just some really poor quality books that I read, and I'm asking about this. But ultimately the goal is that none of us want to write poor quality books. We want to be writing good things, because if we write genuinely good things, it will bring glory to God, which is the entire point. I feel terrible making this point while I'm holding a pool noodle.
The holy pool noodle.
The pool noodle of the Lord.
This pool
All things unto the Lord, including the pool noodle.
This pool noodle.
When God sings with this creation is a pool noodle, not
Yes.
part of the choir.
I didn't put you like this.
This is how Jesus walked on water.
Alright, okay.
TBK on part of the pool.
All noodles for the pool aside. I'm sorry. We will not acknowledge the pool noodle for me.
I'm going to divulge into a solid 5 minutes of this laugh.
Okay, next topic.
5 minutes now.
Okay. But a couple of the really poor quality books that I have read, where these people, I'm sure, were genuinely trying to create something that would glorify God. It just so happened that they were going about it in just a very, when I say childish, it's not the children are stupid, but going about it in just a very immature way that didn't have any meaningfulness to it. So, it's not just that they were kind of lawful good, all this, et cetera, et cetera.
You had a whole tangent a while back on the Instagrams about giving children stories that were true,
That was scary.
that were scary,
I thought,
because
yeah.
life has scary things in it, and to talk otherwise is to be untruthful.
Yeah.
So, dark things are scary. I'm connecting the two dots here somewhere, where light does not exist, except in there's a better theologically better way to phrase that, I'm sure.
Within the darkness there is light.
The light that we have
Darkness
here
exists.
currently does not exist without its counter opposite, which is darkness.
Without shadows, it would be much more difficult to even realize how good light is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility, especially in telling the truth to those who we are responsible for, as we've done it. To demonstrate that there is darkness, to make the light that much more powerful when we talk about it. Because if there were no sin, Christ coming into the world would be nothing.
Yeah, because it's what it is about those things is it's the namby-pambiness of it that eats at me.
It's incredibly immature, and when, especially in children's fiction, this happens a lot. It disrespects its audience and saying that you can't handle, or fears that you cannot handle, the concepts of something dark, something scary.
Or they're just giving you a version of reality that doesn't exist. Which doesn't make any
Delusion.
sense. Which doesn't make any sense.
I feel like there is a particular subset of fiction that is afraid of acknowledging that things are dark and things are hard. And we do not have to be this people.
Well, most Christians today think that life should be easy. Life should be.
It's prosperity gospel.
Yeah, the prosperity gospel,
Prosperity
basically.
gospel.
Yeah, everything is flowers and rainbows, and I get wealthy if I bless the people of God.
I will. All my prayers will be answered if I send money to Joel Osteen.
Yep.
$5 with interest.
Here, you can have this.
Sure.
And what's it? Collateral?
Why?
Is that vanilla pudding?
Huh?
Is that vanilla pudding?
No, it's mayo de noche.
Mayo.
It's
jam?
very
What?
mayonnaise-esque.
What is
there's
mayo
a
jam?
joke that floats around the internet of, oh, I'm gonna put something that's definitely not
It's a
mayonnaise in the mayonnaise jar
mispronunciation
and
from like a
bamboozle everyone around me.
person online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea what you're talking about.
I know.
That's why they're in my pocket.
It's like I took off my gloves because it's kind of weird. You wear gloves inside. It's not weird anymore.
Side tangent. There is several videos online of a guy who rates mayonnaise and he eats the entire jar during the video.
Wow.
Don't you know that's secretly Elias?
It's like Elias in a skin suit.
All right, cut content. Let's go.
I'm now the wielder of the mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh shoot!
Your hat.
Oh,
Hat.
the hat is in play
The traveling hat.
for the band of the radio.
The traveling hat is in play.
For the benefit of the radio, which we don't really need because we got 2 cameras, Rachel now
Sometimes
has
you're
the
listening
hat.
audio only.
Yeah.
Audio
Yeah.
hat.
Rachel has the
For you Spotify hearers, Rachel has the hat.
For now.
For now.
Bring non-official. I didn't know you wanted to bring that up.
Alright.
I guess
So-
one
Yeah, it's pudding.
who cannot.
Blame him.
Huh?
I said blame him.
Can we use the cool noodle for interrupting people?
I can do that.
Shame.
No.
Shame.
Shame
For you.
upon me.
Hey, Danielle's here! Woo!
I did it!
Danielle,
We will let-
you're in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot
We
seat.
should let Luther finish his
That
thought
was
first.
my
Yeah,
goal.
thought.
Yes.
Yes, we got interrupted, but Luther should finish his
It was
thought.
my stated goal to my siblings to get whacked with the pool noodle at least once.
You could have just said you weren't a writer, and that would have been easy.
It would have been, the bar was so low.
Yeah, but
It's like
I wanted to raise that bar so high.
That's fair. That's fair.
I had to have an actual genuine reason to get whacked.
Understood.
You can't
Okay,
be seen.
Your point.
Okay.
Mr. Davis, your thoughts.
Throw the hat in.
Especially where it could be a problem is biography or history, because you have your favorite person or your favorite event or like your favorite side in your favorite war, and everyone has opinions. Like especially if your job is to write history or biography. But then you can't just totally portray your person as the best person ever, and anyone who didn't like him was an irredeemable monster.
But they could be.
But you have to say,
Like,
if you want to be truthful, you have to say, no, this person had motivations and temptations that were following.
This is a huge thing because Danielle, recently we were talking about your research into Abraham Lincoln for your class. And like he is okay. We're in the South. We have our own opinions.
You don't say.
Divided narrative regarding this particular historical figure, and it's painted so brightly in this way and so darkly in this way. And you were talking about how the research you did really created so much insight into what actually happened.
My family is from Mississippi, so we have historically had a lot of opinions about it, and I hadn't realized that there were any people who actually believed the Northern narrative until I was like 15 or 16, and then upon discovering that, did some research into it and was like, okay, this is what I believe, this is why I believe it, and then was redoing research for my class and discovered that Lincoln was a terrible, terrible man. That was what I discovered.
But you're like, I was right.
No, it was one of those things that, like, the outcome of the war in terms of the U.S. staying together, that was a good outcome from a terrible war that was needless. Slavery being ended through that war was a good outcome from a terrible war that was needless. Because the war itself was not, it was about keeping the country together, but Lincoln did not have the legal right to go in and conquer states that had legally left.
Yes.
And so the 300,000 men who died and the cities that were burned and all those things that happened that he called for and all the people that he threw in jail and all of the newspapers that he shut down because they weren't telling his narrative, those were all horrible things that happened that a couple of good things came out of. But
Rose violating the First Amendment?
many, many, many times.
Not entirely the same, but like I was been in the tutor kick for the last few years, you know, as you do.
That's what that's.
So I was interested in learning more about Bloody Mary because I had a feeling like she's been portrayed as like a monster, and I'm like, I kind of doubt that, so I'm gonna find a good biography to read. And yeah, she did some bad things, but then like it's not really that much worse than any other king or queen in history. I think just because it happened so quickly in like a few years of her reign.
History is
And plus, also Elizabeth did do a big like smear campaign for her afterwards. So like, between the two.
Victor's right in history.
Yeah.
yeah, history is
I
narrative.
heard a great one the other week that was like, history is written by the people who have time, and the losers who have time
do not
often
have time.
The case they presented was that the Vikings did not have a lot of historians. So most of what we know about that period of time is written by people that they conquered who actually had historians. But notwithstanding, yes, telling the truth and portraying light and darkness accurately in history and biography is especially important because that's how we learn things.
That's the topic, by the way, Danielle. We were talking about
Oh,
illustrations.
speaking of Danielle, you're in the hot seat. Who are you and what are you working on right now?
I'm Danielle Boland, and I'm working on the second book in my trilogy that is high fantasy, low magic, and deals with a lot of questions about telling the truth, narrative, and light and darkness.
Nice!
So,
Nice.
You're right in the spot.
Tis peak. Tis peak.
I am going to.
was Luke answering that question?
Is that going to be adjusted?
We were here for that. The hat is traveling.
Oh, the hat's traveling.
Down.
Yes, for the benefit of the radio, Danielle currently has the hat.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with the hat?
You
Where?
hand
Wear
it
it
to
for a
someone else
while,
when
and
you're
then you
done.
hand it to somebody else.
You eat it.
I don't.
I would rather, if anyone's gonna eat my hat, I'll eat my hat. There's so many ways to take that thing. I'll eat my hat if someone else tries to eat it.
Oh, okay.
You give that back so I can eat it in indignation.
Am I passing the hot seat to somebody?
No,
Everyone else already introduced
The
themselves.
hot
You were late.
seat? Great.
We started with Rachel, so we'd go all the way around and end with you, and then you did.
Then you still failed to show up.
Yeah.
they're all cold.
Everything's cold in here.
It's freezing in here.
Very.
Good for
we
you.
were talking about. We were Pastor Crabtree's lecture this morning. Actually, maybe take a lot of mental notes because I am currently dealing with poor in spirit and mourning in that particular context for Drift 3. Because it is about someone
the
who
point
is
where you like smacked the table and looked at me, I was like, this has got to have something to do with
Autumn is thinking so hard right now because it's literally about someone who recognizes that they can go as far away from the problem as they want, but the problem is them, and it's as far as he goes, Ray is still gonna be with him.
Yeah.
That was a really cool because striking the balance of mourning what you've done wrong and the consequences it has, but actually doing something about it as opposed to just feeling bad that something bad happened and you suffered for it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
You don't just sit there and suffer and you look for conclusions that you can climb back out.
And turn around and be like, I did a bad thing, I need to fix it. Anyway, yeah. Currently being writing I'm not going to grammar. It's just not going to happen. Currently working on a story that is literally about the dark places we find ourselves in when we don't know what we're doing. And the bad decisions we make when we don't know what we're doing.
I think that's what Novice is about.
We keep talking about how much I'm going to like this book.
Oh,
You need to write a sweat into it.
Millie asked me when she gets to read it the other day, and I was like, give me like 3, maybe 4 years. That's gonna be a while, man.
Yeah, but that's been a relevant, I think, this has been an ongoing conversation for as long as I've been writing Drift, is how do you balance how much of a bummer this story is with the truth that needs to come out the other side, which is life is not just a bummer. You have to get up and stop being sad and do the right thing.
It's amazing what happens when you get up and stop being sad and like go do stuff. Like if you go like wash the dishes for somebody else, you're like, oh wait, life's not so bad.
Life is short. Bother your friends and wash their dishes.
Amen.
Oh, nuts. What's that poem? It might be a poem or it actually might be song lyrics. I found it on Pinterest. I don't know what it is. It was words and I liked them. But it was about when life becomes terrible, I become a servant. And like how good that is. Oh, it's a really good poem. I'll have to send it to Daniel, then you'll enjoy it. But there is so much value in that, in the going gets tough, but
The tough get going.
the going gets tough, but the tough don't just sit there and wallow. The tough find something to fill their hands with and they move on.
And the benefit of the radio, Luther has the hat.
And the redeemed find something to fill their hands with, and they go and be the church.
Yeah.
Precisely.
And sometimes the tough situations make people tough, and they have to.
I think one.
99% of the time.
It's like that. You go ahead first.
I think one thing that could happen to people is that we get discouraged because, like, there is that saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But then sometimes you feel, well, I'm not tough. I'm not strong. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. So then the only thing that could help you is to realize that you don't have to do it in your own strength. You're not strong enough, but you don't have to be, because God can be strong enough for you. So you're like, all right, God, I'll trust you. You help me, and you do this for me, and I'll follow you.
Our
A lot of
weakness,
times.
his strength is better.
Yeah. And toughness a lot of times is just obedience.
But also the whole thing of, in this world you will have hardship. But be of good cheer, for I have hope.
I was scared for a second.
I was low-key hoping that you would finish this.
I wish I had, truly. You don't know how bad.
Lawrence has been trying to get us to finish his sentences this week, and it's so funny to
Yeah.
all of us just like. Even
Yes,
last
we're
night
giving you
with the whole phrase we kept having to finish for him. It's like every time it's like,
Got it. Like, I was like, wait, because there was two different versions, so I kept trying to say the wrong one first.
I kept on saying bring, and Christ will bring you light.
I mean, he will.
I kept
but-
saying
Yeah.
life.
semantics.
Yeah.
So long as you actually try to answer the phrase.
Yeah.
I was trying to, but in the Bible version the only one that was like downloaded to my phone that would load, was like a different translation because it was like
Christ will shine.
yeah, it was like Christ will shine upon you, and so I kept
That's why I kept
mentally
getting mixed up.
yeah, I kept saying and Christ will bring you shine, and Christ will light upon you. Like I kept switching between those two.
Light upon you like he's gonna land on my shoulder.
Christ will make you
In
shiny.
the form of a bow. Form of a dove.
We cannot speak anymore.
It's
It's
the cold.
it's too cold.
My face is numb.
We're all suffering from brain freeze.
You guys are well in that.
My noggin is fine. The rest of
All
me-
of us but Elias are suffering from brain freeze.
Oh, I'm good except for my feet.
What about my hair?
I'm good. My nose is just
Moderate
cold.
mohawk.
It
I
looks
have-
like one of those hair pieces that they would put on a Lego man that's
Or a
supposed to like
flock
look
of
good, but it's
seagulls
Anthony Lord came in with his hair greased weird the other week for one of the videos we were filming, and Bailey takes one look at him and says, "You look like a Lego man." Like, it was this one, shaving it all off. I had to look like a Slav.
Sloth.
Okay. We were making a video about Russian guns.
Russian guns.
Cute.
Oh boy.
You were building an AK. Apparently, we're building an AK.
Good.
Yes.
For the radio, Janelle is now holding.
Danielle.
They're working over there, and she's
We're
working.
having
For the sake of the
Same
radio,
problem.
Danielle and I have both like morphed into one person. We are now Danielle.
We were having the same problem when we were playing the newspaper game.
You keep messing me up.
Because you exist with the name Danielle.
How dare you?
How dare you. So, random pop question that I was curious about, because I think we talked about this with a few people a while ago, but and it's not that interesting a question. But when you're developing a story or a poem or whatever, are you a plotter, a pantser, or a steward?
I don't get the second word.
I will define. So a plotter is somebody who does not start working on their manuscript until they have every little detail planned out to the nth degree. Like they do not work on anything until they know exactly what is going to happen at all times, and then can just work by their guideline. So they'll usually go through and make an overall outline of the themes of the entire book, and then go in and do like the actual outline of the entire book, and then go up through and do the outline of entire chapters. And a lot of times they have like character sheets and all that kind of stuff too. So like very detailed, very extravagant, very thought. Pantsers tend to be people who they're called that because they fly by the seat of their pants. they have like a concept, they have an idea, they have a vibe. Sometimes they'll do some character work, but usually they're just going to be like, we're going to just try it and see what happens. Stewards
wants to build a time machine, so he starts working.
Stewards are a kind of a subgenre that is somebody who has to like think of a concept for a long time, and they will either usually turn into a pantser or a plotter eventually, but it means that they don't like get an idea and start working on it immediately. Usually they like will sit on it for like a year or 3 or 5 or 10 before they actually start working on it, and they'll just kind of pick up pieces and put them together until they have like a ball of string.
We are both stewards.
I definitely.
I
am also
stew for a lot
steward.
less time than you do.
I'm a non-steward.
I'm a steward because I haven't been writing anything. So
Yeah.
Forced steward.
yes.
You're not even stewing. You're like a 48-hour partners.
I
You like to cook, and then you have something incredible.
I'm a stew, not by
Let him cook.
choice.
Let him cook.
If it doesn't cook, it's not going to be good ever.
I feel like I'm a mix of like a stewer and a plotter because I try not to like. I'm not the best at like writing like one thing continuous, like, you know, chapter 1 through 10 type thing. I like to like write about like certain important, significant like plot points and stuff. So I'm kind of like a mix. I'm definitely a steward because I'm like a mix of both because I spend a lot of time like thinking about it and plotting, like, you know, thinking about the different things and having like a general like outline of what I want to do. I just hate writing the beginnings and stuff, so I'm like, all right, let's dive into chapter 5 because something interesting happens here. But I, you know, stew on it for quite some time.
I think I'm a steward that turned into a pantser once I came to it. It's like, I'm sitting there, it's like, well, I know the general vibe, but what's supposed to happen next? Yeah.
I would say, for me, the story stews in my head for a good while, but once I start writing it, I pants it. So if something doesn't go the way I was imagining it to go, it just shifts.
Years.
The story shifts. So when I would plot is like my Celtic inspired fantasy one. I think it's called the Call of the King or something like that. That one, it is going to be plotted because it's dealing with multiple character perspectives. Each one I'm going to try to treat as their own main character. So that one, I need to watch how many timelines are going on and how they all intersect with each other before I even start to write it.
Bold of you to assume you need to plot that. So I can't say 7 POV plot line. Dang it!
You're useless. It's 5 feet away.
Back to you. I didn't tell a lie.
I just decided that now I'm going to bonk people whenever I like, because nobody's lying anymore. They're all too scared.
Whoa, whoa.
To violence here. I will eat the hat.
Do it.
Your name is Greg. How dare you?
In the midst of that, Elias got the hat for the benefit of the radio.
He did.
And
Yes.
the mayo.
And the mayo.
And the mayo.
The pudding.
The mayo de
mayo that's
noche.
not mayo.
In the absence of a Russian roulette bag, we resorted to mayo.
Yes.
You need to bonk the mayo because it's lying.
It's lying.
But what?
You may smack him for me.
Say what?
Bonk.
Smack him.
Not the hat.
This is for the
Mayo.
mayo.
He got mayo on his thing.
No, now you have mayo on my whole little.
This was $3 from the Dollar Tree.
Oh, so
The
expensive.
Dollar Tree?
To the Dollar
The
Tree.
Dollar Tree's highway robbery these days.
It's the $1.75 tree these
It
days.
is not the dollar.
Yeah, I mean they have the Tree of Lies.
It's the $5 tree, and Five and Below has become the like 25 and under tree.
So we go
No,
to the
Five
Dollar
Below
Tree.
has like $50 items.
Oh, gosh.
It's bad.
That's crazy.
It's bad.
They need to just change
And
the
if that
names
one
of
of me-
stuff.
Yeah, if you're gonna name it something, stick to the name.
Yeah.
Well, they basically.
Well, you
because
can't
the
in this
inflation
economy.
happened, so.
Yeah.
And
They
then
can only
there's
sell
like Arizona
gummy
iced tea
The
that
economy's
stays
in shambles.
79 cents for a millennia.
Rachel, I know you're a plotter, aren't you?
100%. I am the person with the, scene cards, and this is exactly what happens in the scene, and this is how it progresses the plot, and this is the subplots that are in the scene. I can't write until I have all of that.
Are they all like in a line and color coded?
It's kind of, I have a template for my Scrivener document, so it's kind
They're
of like a
color-coded,
long
right?
list. Sometimes. Well, my scriveners go. I have
I feel like I have something similar, but it's like the Charlie Day conspiracy board with the red yards. Like, what does it all mean?
Yes, that's me.
mine is like laid out.
It's currently very tidy because I haven't put anything on it yet. I think I put 3 notes on it for now. I took everything down for draft 2.
When our writers club had theirs writing up, they were just like 3 notes on her board, and it was the weirdest thing because the year before when we went over, there were like 400 notes just kind of like with like a string going across the middle.
There's that gif of the guy standing in front of the
Like 2 walls.
Yeah.
2 walls of string and notes, and he's like losing his mind. For like, listen. Then I've been photoshopped into that meme.
That's right.
Can I offer a secret alternative
Bethany.
plotting method? I don't plot, I don't pants, and I don't stew. It's more like I'm flying a hot air balloon. Where like you plan a trajectory and you're like, this is gonna work so good. And then you get up in the air and you realize, oh yeah, you can't fly a hot air balloon. You just go up in the air and then you go, wow, I wonder which one of the Alps I'll end up in. You have to like,
I see. That is what I would call a pantsing plotter.
yeah, but that doesn't give you enough information.
Bethany, you are a trench coat that says plotter on it with a pantser inside.
You're 3 cancers in a trench coat.
Yeah, something like that. Because I always
Spelunker. You start to sit out and like, you have to find your way out through the
I'm
cave.
making my way by an old yellow flashlight. One of those ones you really can't see anything.
A
You
torch
got
and
a
machete.
canary with you to
Yeah.
make sure.
The canary died 3 caves back, but we're not really sure which one.
Yeah. But it's like, I described it once as like almost like just a slow like clay sculpt because I have the outline, and the outline I'm like, oh man, I know everything that's gonna happen. This is gonna be great. And then I go to write the scenes, and in the scene it's just like, and then they escape, and I'm like, oh man, but how? I wonder. I thought I knew this. So then I will outline the escape, and I'll go, great, now I know everything, and I go to write the scene, and then I go, over here, it just says they fall out a window. How did they fall out the window? How did we end up in this scenario?
Carefully.
And there's so many layers of like, I think about it a little more, I think about it a little more, I think about it a little more. I'm like zooming in on Google Maps.
Yeah, it's like whenever you're trying to, it's the, when you focus on showing, not telling, you just kind of start an avalanche of trying to be like, oh, they walked through this thing. It's like, oh, the door creaked open, the light shined upon as they, dusted off their trench coats from the snow, and you keep going on, but they're like, wait, where did they get the trench coats? When did
Yeah, exactly.
Hint and showing, not telling.
This is exactly what happens when I'm trying to edit a fight scene. It's like if my brain turns off for 1 second, it's like Shashi is standing quietly on the cobblestone. Brain shuts off for like 3 sentences. All of a sudden, she's like 50 feet in the air. It's like, oh, what happened?
Bethany, you are Miguel from El Dorado, third El Dorado. And he's like, well, follow that trail. What trail? The trail that we blazed.
I am both of them at the same time, and that's why Wicked Archer exists, is because I had the 2 like arguing goblins in my brain, and I was like, what if I put them in a book?
So, I've got that side project, Noble Order Bella.
Yeah.
There's a character in it who's actively playing an instrument in most scenes he's in, and in my head is always just Miguel with the...
Before I interrupted you.
Because that guy writes fiction. Does he have a thought on what are you?
More like to zoom in on the Google map when it seems important.
Yeah.
Because like,
I feel that.
what I think of is I have events that I want to happen and characters that I want to do the events for them. Putting them together in a way that's consistent and doesn't throw off things in the future. Because I know like how I want it to end. And then like making everything consistent with the timeline. I don't really plot out the stories, but I definitely plot out the timeline.
Yeah, I get
Well,
that.
because the timeline is essential, man. And like, if you know where your characters are going to be, you have like a foundation to work on. And if you know where to expect them to be, and they're not there, you need to know why. And all that stuff on the casual read, you might not notice like inconsistencies like that, but people who are like actually paying attention are gonna get you. I saw a Tumblr post one time.
Never
that was
use numbers.
I saw you know which one I'm talking about.
Never
I
use
saw a Tumblr
numbers.
post one time that's like, my ability to remember details in my own book will never defeat the most autistic of my readers.
See, this is why I have to be the most autistic of my readers. You write it with us. They can't get you.
If you want to have a good, like, overarching novel and plot and stuff, you need to have a council of at least, 5 to 10 extremely autistic people who will go over it with a fine-tooth comb and find the discrepancy.
You see, I am already those
I need
people.
to write more fiction because I have like 5 incredibly autistic coworkers who all they think about is war reenactments. Like one of them will have a different war he's thinking about every week. He's like, so Flood, what are you thinking about the communists these days? He's like, actually I'm thinking about World War I this week. I was like, really? What's that about?
That's Zeke every Sunday.
Excellent.
I get where Luther's coming from because actually when I sit down with my bowl of stew, as it were, I have, I pull out the 3 or 4 major plot events that are like, all right, we're gonna start here, we're gonna get there, it's gonna escalate to there, it's gonna escalate to there. How do we get there?
And they had this one nugget of a tomato right here that's like, oh, that's nice.
That's gonna be really, really tasty. It doesn't go to anything, but it's gonna be really, really tasty. That's gonna be a log.
You're not going to.
Suffered. We're gonna go to the beach.
You're not going to get it now, but in the next book you will.
Yeah, because sometimes you you write that one part of something, and I think about this with Danielle. You write something and you don't know why it's important yet, but you know in your heart that there is a nugget of something in here, and it's going to matter so much, and that's why you write it, even though you don't know what it is. And then
you fight your
later, and then you go back in later drafts and you take that same nugget and you turn it into a treasure trove, and it's so much fun.
That was Mike. Mike Slashmini's art from 1 to 2 to 3 is like that. It's like, I don't know why he's like that. Oh no, I know why he's like that.
You see,
now he's the backbone of the story.
See, this is one of the really fun parts about writing stories in general, is placing those tiny things in there, not knowing fully where it's going to go, and then later on you can pull the string and see where it goes.
Yep. It's like,
Yeah.
Wait,
And what's cool about the story that I'm writing right now is I already have the entire trilogy in my head, so I already know which strings I want to pull on later. So I can properly set them up in the previous books
like in a
to get
tapestry
there.
or like one of those pop-up books where you pull it and the whole page goes shoo.
Yes.
Very good.
Wait, so as far as that pertains to nonfiction, because I really need to talk to more people who write nonfiction, because I think that it's very interesting. My brain is not really wired for that. So I want to know if that happens in nonfiction. How do you plan nonfiction writing?
I'm gonna talk to T-Rex.
I have no idea. I go on tangents when I try to write essays, so I don't know how you plan the information in a book.
Carefully.
I'm not sure. I don't have enough experience to say. I mean, I think I write out my thoughts and then I categorize it.
So what is your process right now? What are you doing to take steps toward writing a self-defense book?
Well, right now I have everything basically written out. Now I'm trying to edit it and go through, see if I want to add any thoughts. So
see if there's any points where you're like, man, this point feels like I could expound upon that for 2 more chapters.
Well,
one more thing. And another thing.
I also feel like when it comes to writing nonfiction, there's a lot of you need to do a lot of important research and fact checking and stuff just to make sure you have your sources right and everything. To try and just make sure you're not telling a fictional nonfiction type thing.
In traditional publishing, you often sell nonfiction based on the proposal. You don't actually write the book most of the time without selling it. So, you'll write a proposal, which is basically an outline of the book that you want to write, and you're just pitching that. And then once you get it sold, then you can use that money to research it and spend the time working on it.
Interesting.
Obviously, I haven't done much in nonfiction.
Kind kind of antithetical to the old days when you just have some truly cracked old guy in a house on his pension just writing all this stuff.
I was just about to say, like, if you're writing nonfiction, you should just pay some, like, nerd, historical squire to just, find out, he could just live in your basement and look up all the historical references
This is what the
for
Council
you.
of Autistic People do.
That's what I did when I wrote. I wrote Into Zululand a couple of years ago, and it was based off of the Anglo-Zulu War in 1870s, I think. And I had to look at a bunch of different books. A lot of them were contradictory in certain minute facts, and with regards to amounts of men, places, decisions, reasoning, and so I'd have to find general consensus. I had to decide, okay, which one seems more reasonable, which one do the most facts appear to generally agree on, or I'd find compromises, and I'd make those compromises choices of rounding down, rounding up. And yeah, I just did a ton of studying when I was writing that thing, and I just kind of went along with it. I think I'm generally a prancer. I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about plotting. I don't write much, but what I do write when I'm doing my poetry, at least, I'll get an inspirational thought. I want to write about heartbreak. I want to write about this, and I would just start writing the first few lines that come to mind, and then as I go, it'll just start coming to me. I don't usually outline it. I don't really think on it too much. I just kind of let it go and let the emotions follow themselves, kind of, and where the emotional flow is telling me to go. If I should go higher, if I should go lower, if I should drag it out, and stuff like that.
That Ernest Hemingway quote about, writing is very simple. All you do is you sit down to the typewriter and read.
That would be me.
That's one of my favorite writing quotes out there. It's a really good one.
Well, I have not written nonfiction, but I did read a book.
Yay!
Called The Art of Writing.
At least one.
And it is,
We all have.
it is about writing nonfiction, and it is phenomenal.
What book
It's
is this?
The Art of Writing. It's by William something or another. He has a really complicated last name. I believe it involves a Z
Okay.
and an H. I don't remember his last name, but it's complicated. But it pretty much outlines the whole basis of writing nonfiction, and it talks a lot about how you have to be really careful with what you include in your nonfiction because it's so easy to lose a reader. Like, you have to be really careful with the length of and I mean, obviously you do with fiction as well, but you have to be really careful with the length of the words because especially if it's something you're really interested in, especially if it gets technical, it's going to be so easy for you to just start spewing all the terminology.
That's why I don't really like. I was listening to something Ashley was listening to from Doug Wilson. I think he was reading one of his books, and even like the Westminster Confession, like things like that. They have so many big words sequentially that you like can't follow. Even if you know what the words are like, you just can't process it, and so you don't even want to read it.
And so there's a distinction there between like technical documents like the Westminster Confession, it was written with a direct purpose of communicating a very specific amount of information, and something like an educational book where someone is trying to explain something like perhaps the Westminster Confession of Faith to a reader.
This is why I think appendices are a good thing to have in your book, so you can have a consistent flow for your readers, but also have those areas where they can see, there's more technical information to this. I can go over to here and read that as well.
I, however, don't really like appendices in a lot of books because sometimes having all the footnotes in appendices and when there's always like a little number beside like every third word, and it can get so distracting, especially when it's something that you're like, I already knew this. And it's like they give a 2-word description, and you're like, that didn't even help any.
and then you completely lose your thought in the book.
One of my
Or
favorite
you
YA
see-
authors has a series. Jonathan Stroud has a series called the Bartimaeus Trilogy, where the narrator is constantly going off on little tangents in the footnotes,
Yeah.
like explaining parts of his history that are relevant to his narrative.
Yeah.
It's like, then this thing over here, this
Which
thing over here.
there's an
Note,
in-world reason for that too.
breakdown of that.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
If you're
It was so, like, it didn't even break the immersion. It made it so much more entertaining was to continue to have to go on Bartimaeus' little footnotes with him.
Have you read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell?
I haven't yet.
I
I've read
want
part
to.
of it.
Should I?
I've
Tell
read
me
part
it's
of it.
good because I'll buy it tomorrow.
I have a copy. So, but right now, you're serious, right? Yes, I have a copy. Do I have a copy? I had a copy. I might not anymore.
It's okay. No matter what, I will obtain this book.
We have eaten the copy.
I might have eaten
Have
the
you
copy.
eaten it with the hat? Was it a sandwich of book hat book?
Oh yeah, for the benefit of the radio. I don't
Were
think
you
we
gonna
said.
say something, Ashley?
I don't think we said for the
for
benefit.
the benefit of the radio.
The hat has moved.
To Anthea.
Ashley, were you gonna say something?
Oh, it was switching the topic.
That's okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I am a pantser, and I do a tiny bit of stewing, but it might be more like
I think you're more of a plotter.
specific scenes, like that I'll just be imagining the scene in my head. So yeah, I'm more of just like, I'm like, okay, I have this is kind of like these are like my two scenes, and I'm going to make a book with them, and I just sit down and just start writing, and yeah, and it just all comes out, and yeah, I think I have discovered that I do need to do a little bit more plotting with specific things like a timeline and stuff like that. So I do need to do a little bit more of that, but yeah, mostly I just, I am a pantser, so yeah.
Well, very briefly back to nonfiction writing. One of my favorite authors in nonfiction is John McWhorter, who is a linguist, and his books are generally about etymology and language evolution.
Thank you.
It's so much fun, dude. But he kind of varies in the amount of information he's giving you from book to book, where his book, The Power of Babel, whichever, on the evolution of pidgin languages is really dense and technical. It's so cool. Whereas his book on the history of the English language is about this big, and it's really easy words to communicate all of his information. But it really does vary on the amount of information you're trying to communicate and the audience you're trying to write to. As it varies with any book you're writing, it really depends on your purpose and your target audience. Like, there are some books where you're gonna just give them the entire water hose because the audience you're looking at for is someone who wants to drink out of the fire hose. And there's some people where there are some projects where you might turn on the kitchen sink. Like, this is the amount of information we're dealing with right now, and the amount of density we're trying to deal with right now. It's entry level or intermediate level, which is
And occasionally it is a sippy cup.
truly. Like, I feel I was in small group the other week talking about this because we were talking about knowing God as one of those books where you have to read it for a page, stop, go back and read the page again, and think about it a little bit. Read the chapter twice to kind of make sure you're digesting all that information.
Yeah.
How should we then live? This book is very digestible, and you read it, and you're like, oh, this is horrible, this is horrible, this is horrible. And you get to the end, and you go, oh!
Yeah, there's varying degrees of density and information upload that it'll vary from book to book, purpose to purpose, target audience to target audience, as it will with fiction as well. It's like, am I writing a story for 13-year-olds? Am I writing a story for 20-year-olds? Am I writing a story for geriatric 50-year-olds who only watch NCIS? It depends.
And I think that could kind of be considered like a nonfiction sort of plot, because you have to know exactly where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then based on that, you can cut a lot of your information out. If it's for beginners, you're going to cut out anything technical. If it's for more advanced, you're probably not going to want to start with the very basics because that'll bore them to death.
this is actually an approach I have to do when I'm teaching dances. Whereas with a majority homeschool crowd who've never done contra dance before, I have to start from the very beginning with the easiest dance I know and make sure that they have the idea of the form in their head before I go on teaching them more moves. Whereas if I go to call contra dances for the contra dance club near where I live, I'm actually underperforming for them because I'm a really beginner caller. So I'm not calling as complicated dances as they're capable of dancing. I'll go to another caller and my mind will be blown every single dance because they're bringing out these cool technical moves. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm having so much fun right now. I could never do this. I can't do this yet. I'm working on it.
See, I always have to be, I'll have to, if I ever continue writing books, I will have to be careful with that, choosing our audience, because I am very much factual. I'm not a fiction writer. I want to be a historical fiction writer. That's what I tried to do with my books, but it ends up being mostly facts with fictional facts.
Fictional narrative.
And basically, it's there's not a whole lot of emotion behind it. I have a very hard time writing emotion, writing thought processes, and real life situations instead of just stating the facts, what happened, what they said, what they thought and did.
I feel like there is basis for that in historical fiction,
Yeah.
depending on.
But basically, mine is very bland. You wouldn't be able to tell that it's
Skill issue.
What I encourage you to do is to go read outside your genre.
Yeah.
Like, go read fun, fast-paced books and study what they're doing.
Read
and
some
then
whimsy.
come back. Yeah, read some whimsy. And then
I,
read some really solid, like, read the best of historical fiction that's not
Andy.
press. He's not the best of historical fiction.
That's the one I
He
grew
writes
up
for
on.
12-year-old boys. He's fantastic. He writes for 12-year-old boys. And you can
Michael
tell.
Shara and David McCullough would be my first
Wolf
thoughts.
Hall is fantastic, although it has some crass language and some bad words in it. David McCullough, like you said, is fantastic. In my opinion, Rosemary Sutcliffe, fantastic.
I haven't read her.
Those are all people who write the historical narrative well, but they write it well with stories that grip you at the same time. So you're getting the information and you're getting the story.
Okay.
And so I would just encourage you to
Yeah.
go enjoy those things, go try those things, and then see what they do, and come back and see if you can flesh out and add fun layers to your historical.
Yeah, broaden your horizons, and also this is technically a more of a artist slogan, but kind of steal like an artist, look at the broad spectrum of various things and take and pick out the things you like, okay, I really like, how the structure of this one book is, so I want to write, do an inspiration off of this. I'm trying to format it in a writing standpoint, not art, being I really love this person's lineup, I love this person's coloring, so I'm going to mash it together and do my own thing.
It's a metaphor. We appreciate your metaphor.
But yeah, it's similar type thing. I really like the, vibe that this one book has, but I like the progression of this one, and I like the character dynamics, or, the way the characters are written in this one. How can I interpret this into my own thing and make it my own with all of these aspects that I enjoy or would fit my plot well?
There's a great question too. Is what are your influences outside of your own genre? Because for my part, I want to write books that feel like Danielle's pictures look. I want to write books that feel like watercolor paintings look, and a really good film score, like a Michael Giacchino, or a Steve Jablonsky, or a Howard Shore.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Giacchino.
It was like a Michael Jackson.
The guy who did Up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy's freaking goated. Yeah.
I haven't listened to enough of his soundtrack. I need to.
But yeah, what are your influences? Let's talk about that. What influences
Specifically
outside
my genre?
I mean, inside your genre too, but there are so many things to look at and say, I want to write like that. And it doesn't have to be, I want to write fantasy like that person writes fantasy.
I like the ache and the sparkle of DreamWorks movies. Sometimes their plots fall apart, but ultimately the vibes of DreamWorks movies are so high.
So immaculate.
high. And visually that one specific era of Disney where they were doing the 2D and the 3D animation at the same time.
Treasure Planet is a fantastic.
My guy. That is like the #1 inspiration for my current book.
I was just about to like say it was like one of
It has
my
flagships in it.
one of
It has
my big inspirations is like the old like the Renaissance era of Disney, where it's like Treasure Planet, Hunchback of Notre Dame, etc.
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast. Like all the really old like 90s to early 2000s Disney movies that had such a like, especially the ones that flopped, the ones that
the ones that wouldn't sell were the good ones.
Yeah.
They didn't expect The Lion King to sell at all.
That's why they
It did.
invested. They invested more into Pocahontas. I heard.
They did, and then Pocahontas sucked. We got those, and
It's like
gosh, I can't pronounce this guy's last name, but it's an oil painting artist that they sell in Annapolis. And the next time you're local, I'm going to show you these guys.
Excellent.
I can't afford any of them. One day.
How many figures are we talking?
There are these like beautiful fantasy oil paintings. The first one that ever caught my eye was this beautiful like a mermaid just sitting on a rock under the sea, and the way the light glinted on the gold of her scales and her clothing was just such a moment. And the colors that he uses are wonderful, and all these like little creatures going about all their like beautiful like celebrations and like all these very, very beautiful things, all in the contrast and the depth of oil paint is so
Does he have a website?
I believe so.
If he has a website, we should put it in the description of the YouTube video, so we can all go look at it.
Yes.
Oh, this is the painter that I found.
Yeah, when I tracked down what his name actually is.
Is it Polish?
He is German, I believe,
Close
and the great misfortune.
Whoa.
The great misfortune is that once upon a time he was at the art gallery while I was there, but he was talking to someone else, and they were like, "You can ask him any questions you want." I couldn't think of anything interesting to talk to this man about other than just your oil paintings are pretty cool.
That's the worst in it.
But it was cool to like be in the same room as him for a minute, and so that was pretty fun.
I could see Maggie Steve Butter at a library event and got to ask her a question and also give her a compliment. And like the coolest thing ever is like, "You're right there. I said a thing and you thought it was really neat. That's really cool."
Yes.
I got another book signed. It was great.
That's fantastic.
Anyway, yes. Influence.
I'm sure there are others. I don't usually think about like outside of my genre specifically because I'm even trying to track down the names of.
What about that one musician that you sent me that one song from?
Was it Christopher Tin?
No, the one that's like a. Shoot.
Specificity.
You sent me that one and you were like, "This describes Sparrow," and I was like, "No, it describes Corvus," and you were like, "Whoa."
Oh, wait. Mariana Stretch?
Yes, that one.
Oh man, Mariana Stretch is so good. I wouldn't say that they're like a #1 influence on my writing specifically, but they have such interesting albums because the way their albums are set up is almost like how Broadway musical soundtracks work, where there are recurring themes, and almost always the first song or even the last song, but usually the first song of the album will have themes and lines and quotes that will all come back across the course of the album, and it's really, really sick.
My phone is dead. Otherwise, I'd be Googling this right now.
I will send you all the good ones. I will send you
Concept albums!
I
It's
have
so much fun.
power banks if you need any.
Heck yeah.
I don't even know if I have a charger. That's the other thing I forgot.
It has its own.
It's like I have a charging cable in my car, but do I have a power block? I don't know. That's the one thing that wasn't in my. I don't know what's in
Now
my car.
that you got me thinking about him though, Christopher Tin is an
Yeah.
incredible composer.
Okay.
And he has so much
Unless you
good
heard.
like orchestra and instrumental music, and he's that one I don't know what African ethnicity it is, unfortunately, but that one song that's in an African language about the rain after a long drought that Nanny really likes.
Yeah.
That's his work, and all of his stuff is so
It's on African?
Huh?
No.
No,
Toto?
That's the red.
I just heard made in Africa.
The only thing he knows made in Africa is yes.
What?
Yeah.
Toto?
The band.
Kids.
I actually have no idea who sings it. I only know the song because I literally only know the song because of the Straight No Chasers parody of it.
Oh,
where
yeah,
they,
that's
where
where I
they
found it
use
too.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elijah has the hat.
For the benefit of the radio.
And the phone.
Did you have a thought?
No, I was just gonna say the only thing I know about Toto is that the lead singer is John Williams' son.
Yes.
Oh, you're right.
So, I don't know. Fun fact for the
The John
The John Williams. Star Wars.
All right,
Jurassic Park.
let's throw that thought further into the room. Influences.
So, well, I mean, I think anything is going to be an influence on your writing, which means especially when you're putting something like that out into the world, if you want it to be a good influence, you have to have good influences before that.
100%.
And you have to be careful because a lot of times there will be something that you quantitatively know you like more. But then there's an easier option. Like, you're tired, it would just be easier to read this other thing or watch this other thing that's mindless and easy. But then those things are going to influence you. And if you start consuming more of those things than the things that you actually quantitatively know are better, then that's going to override and that's going to be more of what you're putting out.
It's like eating junk food. You can a little bit as a treat on Sundays, but not all week.
Because the thing that's in the water bottle is going to come out when you squeeze it. So.
Yeah.
That was a sponge, but okay.
That was orange.
Yeah.
The object is yours.
I think all of us have heard different variations of that.
Yeah, Autumn did.
I can't say that without thinking about T-Ray anymore, though, because the last time I said that, he was like, well, as long as the thing that you were putting in the water bottle is water, not heresy, you should be fine.
Just that guy.
It's one of my favorite Poiemauthors top quotes the whole time.
The great T-Ray once said.
Yeah.
Forget the great Sun Tzu. We got the great T-Ray.
We do.
But we like Sun Tzu too.
Yes.
He's pretty cool.
Have you guys? You read his Art of War?
Yeah.
The bits I read of that is like, this guy was clearly talking to people who were on crack, and he was just trying to give them some common sense.
Yeah, it is.
Or whatever the Chinese equivalent of crack was, opium. I don't know.
Gunpowder.
Gunpowder opium.
But I mean,
So
it
listen,
helps.
dude,
It
I know
helps.
you're on so many drugs right now, but if you just do these common sense things, you will win your battle.
It does, though.
We don't always think of the common sense straight
Exactly.
practical.
Having
I
read
read
that
that
book
book 4 times last year because I'm writing a book that deals with warfare. And it's a summarized version that I can read, whereas the other one I'm reading by something Ron Carlson. Fantastic. It's 27 hours long. So if I'm going to read one of those, I'm going to read.
Sun Tzu.
Yeah, and so that one's like an hour long, and I can just and then I can put it up my life. But
Yeah, it gives you structure. I think for
bullet points.
Yeah.
In your brain, so when you go, wait, how does this? You go, ah, yes.
So one of Danielle's major influences is your Sun Tzu. Debatable.
Major influence in my writing period, though, original great influence was actually Josh Garrels. If we're talking about like outside of our, because the longing and the depth and the Christianity woven through light and through details and through just like normal everyday like blues and greens of mountains and things. That is what I want to write like, and that was one of the original things that I was like, if I'm going to write a book, if I'm going to write fantasy, I want it to feel like Josh Garrels' music. And then that grew into Arcadian Wild later. And then you have like the layers and the depth and the music that comes in from the background, and then you get chills. Like, I love the fact that they managed to weave truth into normal lyrics. And they have like the bluegrassy style mixing with the folksy style mixing with a couple other things. It's just like, it's excellent.
The entirety of Finch in the Pantry is on my dress list.
The Principium was on repeat for writing Part of Sparrow. But Daniel Gerhardt, I think I'm saying his last name right, is an, I believe, oil painter, but he may be acrylic, might be both, that I love. He's a Christian, but I found out after I really liked his work for like 4 years and was so happy. Because the way that he writes expression and the way that he paints expression, the way that he paints people as people, it's beautiful. And like his light and his detail and his textures and his layers is like, and he's still alive, which makes me very happy because most of the artists that I like are dead.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then obviously, like Lewis specifically with Till We Had Faces is one that I would love to write like him. And then Rosemary Sutcliffe, the way that she writes friendship. And then Tolkien, the way that he writes about goodness through darkness and about the depth and the beauty and the pain of life and how it works together for the good of countries and nations and people. I would love to write like that. But
Goals.
George Herbert. George Herbert is one of the best poets of all time, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. And that man, the way that he
I'll have to look
writes about his history. If you ever wanted something fascinating, go read his history, because the way that he ended up becoming a published poet is both sad and amazing, because scholars cannot explain why this man was able to write as many different forms of poetry as he did, because he wrote poetry in every different form pretty much that exists, but he was never trained. He was a British parson who lived in the middle of nowhere in a congregation of like 30 people. Like, this dude had zero training in writing poetry, and he still managed to write one of the most diverse portfolios of any man, and nobody knew it until after he died. So, incredible.
How big was his library?
Not very big from what I understand. They were literally all prayers. He just wrote prayers to God, and then after, when he was dying, he was like, hey buddy, take this book, read it. If you think it's worth anything, publish it. If you don't, burn it. And his friend was like,
Bro.
I didn't burn it. So crazy. But if you ever like poetry that talks about humanity and God and creation and love and all of the things, go read George Herbert. It's phenomenal.
I will have to look him up. My phone is dead, so I'll have to look at that later.
I like that sometimes.
You took your hat off just as I was about to take the comedic picture of you wearing two hats at once.
Why is that so comedic? Everybody
The
does
radio
that.
Jonas is now wearing that.
If we're talking about influences of songs and stuff and poets and all that, mine that I would think were songs would be Hollow Coves. They've done a couple songs that I like really well. What's my favorite one? Blessings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Blessings by Hollow Coves. A few others. Coastline, I think. Then Samantha Herbert. She's a small artist, but she has really beautiful songs. And I've mentioned to some of you Whitney Hansen as a poet. And those are some of the ones that I've tried to base my poetry off of, the feeling of and the thought process of how it flows. It's more of a nostalgic type thought process in most of her poetry and most of the songs that I try to think about when I write my poetry.
Sounds like something like a washing machine back there.
I was wondering what that was.
As far as music goes, Evan Call's soundtrack for Free Run is near perfection.
Listen, everything about Free Run is awesome.
Yes.
I've heard Free Run is really good.
It is really good.
From an animation perspective, it's fantastic,
Yes.
particularly because anime is a notoriously lazy genre, and they cheap out on everything they possibly can as far as the art of making a show. They do not skimp on perspectives, on movement, on detail.
I was gonna say my only knowledge of Free Run related stuff is recently there was a whole trend within the artist
drawing
community
the angle?
of drawing
Yeah.
the Free Run angle, because it's like one of the hardest angles to ever draw.
That's really cool.
And like this one young artist, I guess, posted their attempt at doing the angle, and it blew up online. And so everybody, like thousands upon thousands of artists online, were all banding together to try and draw this terrible angle.
The original is appallingly terrible.
Yeah,
Wait, what is it?
it's not great.
They were trying to. So this one young artist drew a picture of this fictional character from below the chin, like you're looking up at her,
Like, you're
which is a
looking- you're-
notoriously difficult angle to draw.
Right.
And it looks
do
disgusting.
Like, imagine this hand is the camera. The camera's like,
Yeah,
Do something.
yeah,
it's that one.
yes,
Oh, that.
yes.
It's like,
Oh my
It's rough.
Point of view.
Wow.
Wait, is that from the actual
like a
anime? Because I don't
cat.
remember
No,
that.
that's
It's
fan
a
art.
fan art.
And
It's fan art.
it sparks this entire like international
artist all
community
artists
thing.
coming together.
Everyone trying to tackle this ridiculous angle because it's so hard.
Forget hands. Under chin is the hardest thing to draw, apparently.
Yeah, some people skimp out on practicing perspective. I myself included. It is a difficult beast to comprehend.
That's actually, but if you can get that right, at least picture-wise, that's one of the most flattering angles you can get as well.
It's a hero angle.
Yeah, exactly. Because it makes them appear larger than life. It makes them appear above you. So yeah.
I wonder if why that's a hero angle, because that's how we see our parents.
Anybody taller than you, you're 5'3" like me.
Let's put it on backwards.
I'm tall enough that I almost never see someone from that angle.
I
Lucky.
of a height where it's 50-50.
Yep, ma'am.
I'm surprised when I have to see somebody from that angle.
I go, what?
John.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna tall guy and I'm just like, whoa.
I think if you were to see someone from that angle and they were tall, average taller than you,
all the way up
you have to be so close to them. I don't think you will ever see someone from that angle because if someone is terrifyingly taller than you like that, you're not gonna let them get that close.
Unless I'm trying to stare them down.
At most, they're going to be like this.
Square up, bro.
It's not staring them down.
The first few times, like last
Fair
night,
enough.
the first few times where we were doing the like dip and dives and dances,
Yeah.
I kept almost tripping on both David and John because they were going under, and I was too short for them to go under me, and so we would just collide terribly. I'm like, I'm too short
I
for this
lost
giant
for
man.
some time.
Yes.
You gotta sometimes like go one at a time to the different time. Like,
I know.
guy first or girl first.
You and your partner need to learn how to let go and then.
Dance where there's a bunch of children.
And you're like,
dancing
oh
together,
no.
like, here we go.
And they're stretching with all their capacity, but it's still slowing down the whole dip and dive by at least 50% of people trying to squeeze it.
Suzanne, I got to watch Suzanne Lort dance with her little son Benjamin at Reformation Weekend last year, and he was like 3 at the time, and he's about this big. And I ended up guiding him through reeling the set in the Virginia reel, and they go back up and cast off, and I go with Benjamin down to the bottom, and at the bottom, you know, you gotta make up rings. And Susan just goes, yeet! Everyone goes under the top.
The best part of it being that he was giggling hysterically the whole time.
That was arguably my favorite part of that dance was Rich and Suzanne dancing with their really tiny children.
That is adorable.
Like, it's like that is the mentality that you have to have really good dancers as kids, like when they're like 7 or 8 is like this. That's what you gotta do, and those kids are gonna be great dancers.
Start them young.
Start 'em young! This is why Oliver's one of the best dancers I know.
It is unbearably cold in here. Shall we adjourn?
We have been here for an hour and 35 minutes, more or less.
I also
For the benefit of the radio.
Benefiting us.
I have the hat. The only person who has not worn it is Ashley, so we should have Ashley wear it for him. Before we adjourn.
Alright, so though with inspirations, you guys are talking about music and poetry as inspirations. Might I add a kind of mix of that? A lot of my writing writing and artistic inspirations is certain Broadway theater, musicals and stuff like Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera, Count of Monte Cristo, Jekyll and Hyde. Like those are a lot of my Jekyll and Hyde in particular. Like those are a lot of my like big inspirations because I feel like it's a kind of like mashup of both art and poetry. Music and poetry into one, and it's just
And
it's such a
narrative.
beautiful, it's such a beautiful art form when done correctly.
Didn't you
that's a big
spend
inspiration.
like several months just drawing Epic the Musical last year?
I did too.
Yes. And I have several pages with me right now. No, not right now, but they're in the
I feel that though.
They're in the warm room.
They're in the warm room.
I propose this.
Epic the Musical is such a like
One out of two.
infectious musical because my friend introduced it to me, and then I accidentally introduced it to both my dad and brother, and they're getting like just everybody.
I've
else
never
just, like,
accidentally introduced anyone into Epic the Musical. I have grabbed them by the nape of the neck and dunked them
I've
in
done
there.
that once or twice. I think I did that with my brother because my dad and I will like when we're driving we'll like listen to music on shuffle and stuff, and so like I think Thunderbringer came on while we were in a thunderstorm, which was ironically hilarious.
put a pin in this. We can geek out about it in a second.
Yes.
We will walk inside and then we can
Final
resume.
thoughts before we go to the warm place.
Yes.
Anthea.
One last thought on influences.
Yes.
Just been thinking a lot about overall what you're taking in versus what you're putting out. And it can be so easy to get stuck in a rut. Even if it's good content, if you're just constantly taking in and you're never putting thought out, that's not going to be helpful. If like all you do is read, listen, watch, but then you never form it into thoughts, put it on paper, talk to someone about it, practice it, yeah. That's never going to be any good.
Always
then on the
consuming
other
every
hand-
producing.
On the other hand, you can go the other direction and forget to be filling your mind with anything good because you're so busy putting out and you're so
What? Who would
busy
do that?
and you're so busy doing your writing or your form of art, whatever it is, that you forget where it's coming from. Particularly, I mean, if you're not dwelling with the Lord, especially, because you're so busy doing your writing to glorify Him, then
Lost the plot.
you just cut everything off.
It's compost, like this stuff that you're throwing into a compost pile, and then it's supposed to fertilize the stuff that you're going to grow.
So you have to take it back out and
Or you
use
can
it.
just
Use it.
But if you start using and then forget to put anything else in,
May I propose the alternative of a delicious stew? Less sticky. You put all the ingredients in, and then you take out delicious food.
Compost piles are not-
Delicious dirt. 4 farms.
Steamy.
Well done, everyone. This has been a great conversation.
Let's go.
Not enough pool noodling, I'd say.
What if I hand it to you and you can go inside and you can hit whoever you want with it
That
for no
sounds
reason?
good. That sounds really good.
We do not, but for the benefit of the radio, we do not endorse violence.
Yeah, but
you
radio.
don't.
To a point. No, to a point.
And everybody, we all can talk.